Hello everyone and welcome to the Chrissy B Show. I hope you've been having a lovely day and enjoying the weather, the good weather finally. Okay, so coming up on tonight's show we have Ruffle on to talk about her huge life and career changes. I'll be chatting to Counsellor Diana Parkinson, who specialises in how to drink less alcohol and stick to healthy eating even when the pressure's on. We have our fitness tip from Jane Wrafter on how to trim your waist for the summer. And we'll also be going to the kitchen of Hannah Richards at Move 360 for a healthy and nutritional but easy to cook dish. I'll also be answering a question from a viewer, and we have the self-development clinic with Browne later on. But first of all, we have the lovely Rihanna with the news.
Hi, Chrissy.
Hello, you enjoying the weather?
I am. I actually love it. I mean, it's been such a long time since we just saw sun and blue skies and flowers and meadows.
Oh, meadows?
I just wanted to say that. You know, flowers go.
You mean the park down the road, right?
Yeah, that too. But I'm fab. How are you?
I'm good.
Lovely. Are you ready for me today?
Of course. Go ahead.
Fab. Well, normally we hear about addictions, and it's like addiction to food, to alcohol, and you know, stuff that, okay, it's not normal, but you understand that kind of addiction because you've heard about it before.
Yeah.
Now this time, I came across the news of a lady who's addicted to the buzz of pregnancy.
I have heard this before. Years ago.
I'm a bit shocked. I mean, it's not she's
addicted
to having kids, but it's just you know, she wants to be pregnant, so she's like a surrogate for free.
Oh,
and yeah,
where is she?
free.
In the UK?
Yeah, she's here. She's in the UK. She's had 4 kids of her own, and 3 of which she was a surrogate for. And now I'm told that to be a surrogate, you're entitled to 15,000. But she doesn't want the money. She just wants to feel the buzz of being pregnant.
And is she in a relationship? Does it say?
She's married.
Oh,
she has 4 of her own kids, but she's also a surrogate, and she loves it. She said,
what does her husband think about it? Because she's just like literally pregnant all the time. It's like...
He's okay with it because it makes her happy. She said she feels healthier and at her best when she has something cooking in the oven. Now, I know.
Well, I hear I've never had a child, but I hear pregnancy is really uncomfortable. I don't know
From what I see with my aunts, and it just looks like they want to sneeze and then just have the child. But
the pain and the discomfort and the
she doesn't get
sickness.
no pains. She doesn't get stretch marks or anything. So I think that's why she loves it. I mean, you've got to, for you to have a buzz for something like that, you have to love it. Though I cannot understand how and why, but I guess it's one of those things that we'll just never understand. But she actually has a passion for being pregnant, which is amazing. And for free as well. Oh. That's what shocks me. I mean, sometimes people do this because there's an incentive, and so you kind of get an understanding because they want to make a way. But
well, if it makes her happy, she's helping people. So
it makes her happy. She's helping people. She feels really good. Most people, they say, "Oh, when I have to hand over the child, it was the most painful experience of my life." But for her, when she hands over to the child, she's so happy because she's making somebody else happy.
Maybe it's that as well, not just the actual being.
The buzz,
pregnant, just to actually, because it does feel really good when you put a smile on someone's face and you've helped them in some way and you've given something to someone. You do feel, it makes you feel good as well.
You feel like the bigger person, which is lovely. So, Tara Sawyer, well done. Our next news, right? You know how I am about these things. I just come up with stuff. But so Michael Jackson was here with us.
Rihanna, don't scare our viewers, please.
Sorry, so sorry. But okay, so he died in 2009. However,
my gosh, is it?
I know, it feels so. It feels like yesterday. Okay, not yesterday, but
no, it does. It really does.
But then it's like 2009. 2009. I'm sure that was just the other day. But now we're 2014. Scary stuff.
Yeah. Sorry, you were saying.
Yeah, as I was saying, Michael Jackson's hologram performed at the Billboard Music Awards. And I mean, technology's just reached another level for that to happen, and people were excited, and it looks so real, so believable that you'd think he was actually there.
God,
that's scary.
It is scary.
It's really scary, and I don't know.
I think it's painful.
It is, because if you're a fan, like a real fan, and you know, you see him then, and you realise, oh, but he's gone. And his family as well, you know.
I think that would make me feel worse if I was a really huge fan and I just saw him and was like, oh, Michael, it's not him.
And it's not real, and you can do that and your hand goes through.
Yeah, it's not nice.
It's not nice, but I don't know. For me, technology is just advancing in such an incredible way. What are we going to have next? Probably bake something using a hologram. I don't know, maybe. For those of you who are watching, you like technology, think about that and quote me.
Okay.
I'm insane, I'm sorry, but I just love it. Next one is, how do I put this in words? So Brooklyn Beckham is being a role model to 15-year-olds all over the world. Now, he has a luxurious life. His parents are the Beckhams, so they're, you know, worth, what, 165 million? But he doesn't want to live off of their riches. He's actually got himself a Saturday job.
Oh, bless him.
Working at a coffee shop. You know, because he's 15, there's only a certain amount of hours he can work, and he does have to get a break. But he's enjoying it. He doesn't want to feed off of his parents. He wants to earn his own way. Now imagine how many other 15-year-olds are going to follow that.
Well,
and his parents
a Saturday job wouldn't actually help you to
get out of the house, don't do any chores.
No, a Saturday job won't actually help you to live for long.
But it's a start.
But it's good. I think that's a very good initiative.
It is. It's like his parents are teaching him the value of money without forcing him. It's like he chose to do it out of his own free will. That's really good. How many 15-year-olds do we see who's, you know, they want to go out on a Saturday?
Is he allowed to work anyway? I thought you had to be 16 to work.
No, you are allowed, I think, for 7 hours maximum.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
So it's really good. And next on the news, because you were talking about the sun, now there is now a drinkable sun cream, and it went on sale today. I'm looking at you and you're looking at me and you're saying, what is she talking about now?
Drinkable sun cream.
Yes, you can drink it, a teaspoon, and it gives you 3 hours worth of protection.
Oh.
So you don't need to go to the beach with
how does that work? I won't trust that, sorry.
I'd be
need to actually put something on my skin.
But it kind of works inside out.
But the sun comes in from
then you're protected from the inside and it kind of rises. I
would still put the
you're protected
sun cream,
from the inside and it just kind of fizzes out through your skin. You know how when you cut
dangerous,
yourself, blood comes out.
That sounds worse than just staying in the sun for baking in the sun for 10 hours.
Imagine that. You're sitting there and then you're like, oh, I've got to my sunscreen, and then you're like, protected. No. But then you have other people with the spray like really getting in there. So I'm just trying to figure out how it comes from the inside out, and is there another way?
Yeah, I shan't be trying that one, thank you very much.
Neither will I. And also we have news about employees. Now, a lot of the employees here in the UK, they don't use all their annual leaves.
Really? I find that really hard to believe.
So do I, but it's true. And half of them, when they are on annual leave, they're actually working because they still check their emails, they're still doing their work, so they're not really enjoying themselves, they're still in their work. So they kind of have probably a week of their annual leave that they don't use. I mean, when you're working, and especially if you're in a stressful job, you need that annual leave sometimes, not just to say, oh, I'm off work, but to get that rest and just revive yourself. But if you're constantly working, your mind is not going to be working straight.
Well, I can understand, for example, if people will take that paid, because maybe it will help with their, you know, got some debts they want to pay off, so they get that paid back to them. But otherwise, I don't really understand why you wouldn't take your holiday. Gosh.
But only 77% of the workers use their full annual leave. So you've got a good, what, 20-something% that don't?
Yeah. Oh,
I would like to take all my annual leave. Sometimes I don't, because I'm always working, even on the mobile phone. Thank you, technology, once again.
You're just a big lover of technology,
I really am. But this news is exciting. Now, you know we have the selfie. London is crowned the selfie capital of the world. Now, most of the countries, when people are taking pictures and you see the backdrop, we're seeing the Big Ben and everything to do with London. So selfie is not just a selfie anymore, it's actually gone viral. I don't even know who came out with the word selfie, but I'd like to come up with my own words. You know when you're taking a picture in the mirror with your phone, it's like a reflection, so I'm going to say it's a reflexy as opposed to selfie.
It's not the same. Stop trying to create things on this show. She did that last time. She tried to come up with this quote.
It's a reflexy, people. Spread the word. Reflexies are fab.
Yeah.
And now...
You've got 1 minute, I think.
Oh,
can you fit another news item in for?
Of course I can.
Go on, super quick.
Okay, so we have really, really weird names for people that go on holidays, and they want to complain about everything, and they say, oh, they need mineral water, not for them to drink, but to be in the toilet, or they want the cows to ring the bell in the morning so that they can wake up. The most weirdest things that happen on holidays, the bellboy's teeth is too white, the sheets are too white. Every little thing that people can complain about on a holiday, they are doing that now. I don't know.
The bellboy's teeth are too white.
Too white.
Okay. And well, I can't understand someone that would complain about bed sheets being too white, because I would love bed sheets to be too white in a hotel. It's the first thing I check. I'm really picky about that. For
me,
definitely.
If my bed sheets are not clean and the toilet's not clean, I can't stay there. I really can't.
Rihanna, thank you so much for the news.
Thank you for having me, Chrissy.
Just like you. Okay, so after the break, we'll be joined by Karen Ruffle to hear about her marriage, divorce, and how she has turned her life completely around. So do stay with us.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back. Now, before I meet my first guest, let's take a look at this video with Jane Wrafter.
Hi everyone, I'm Jane, and in my fitness top tips today, I'm going to show you how to target the waistline. I'm going to show you how to exercise these muscles here, which are called your oblique muscles, and they're the muscles down the side of your waist. And I've got two fabulous exercises I'm going to show you. One of them is a very common one, but I'm going to show you how to do it really well. So the first one is this. You lie on your side, really elongate your body, and can you see that I've got my legs floating off the floor, and I'm really drawn in the tummy muscles here. So I've not got my tummy relaxed, and I've not got my feet swinging back. So make sure you can see your toes, and then take your top arm over your head, and then lift yourself up and reach towards the knee. And what you want to be doing here is using this left side of your waist to reach for the left knee. You want to be resting lightly in your hands, so make sure that you're not pushing yourself up with your arm here, okay? Going to keep the legs up and release down. So I'm just going to show you a few so you can see it. Really isolate that oblique muscle and use it to create the power of the lift. A handy hint for you is try not to lift from your head. Try not to force your head. Tilt the head away from the lift so it doesn't hurt your neck. Now I can feel this already quite a lot right here in the waist. This is my favorite exercise for the waist, and I do it with all my clients, so I hope you will enjoy that one. Just want to show you one more. So if you roll onto your back and lift your legs up in the air, hands behind your head and lift your head and shoulders up. What you do is you extend one leg and twist across to the other leg and then change. And there's two common mistakes that I see all the time here. One is that your shoulders are too low to the floor, and that's not really going to work. You need to lift yourself up. So you need to have a little bit of height on it for it to work, okay? And the second mistake is that people roll across the pelvis like this. So what you've got to do is super glue both sides of your bum to the floor so that the twist is through the waist and not through your pelvis like that. Okay, so you lift and twist, and you can do these slow or you can do them fast. It works equally well both ways. It's really, really good exercise for the waist. So let's trim that waist down for summer. Enjoy, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you very much, Jane. So now I have Karen Ruffle with me. Hello, Karen.
Hi.
So good to have you on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for bringing me on.
It's brilliant to have you. So you've got quite a story, I have to say, because you've been through quite a few things in your life. But can you tell us a little bit about your childhood first? Was it good growing up, and were you quite a happy child, or did you always have...
No. No. I mean, I was an only child.
Okay.
So, and I grew up in a small market town. So, but I was actually overweight as a child as well. So there was issues when I was a child, with being overweight.
Mm-hmm. Was that your main issue as a child, like the weight? And...
I did get bullied at one point. I changed secondary schools at one point. Up until then, I'd had really good friendships, but this was back in the 70s, that's how old I am. So this is when people weren't as big as they are now in the UK. So to be an obese child was more unusual then.
Yeah. And kids are a bit cruel sometimes, aren't they? Things that they say. Yeah,
and you develop those issues. So yes, that side wasn't particularly happy, but then other sides, just like everybody else's childhood, was just perfectly normal.
Yeah, okay. So when did things start to sort of go downhill for you then?
Probably when that's an odd one. I suppose when I left university, when I first went into the workplace, I think, although I was already medically obese at that point, I ballooned quite a bit. So I went from something like 15 stone up to 17, 18 stone.
But why that sudden weight increase, would you say?
I think I just emotionally ate. I think a lot of women do. And I think I had been doing that from a child. And so, you know, bored, happy, sad, whatever.
Oh, gosh.
Let's eat. So I think all those habits. And when I'd grown up, parents ate very old-fashionedly, so everything was fried, everything, you know.
Gosh.
If you had a cup of tea, if you had a cup of tea, you had like 10 biscuits with it, had 20 sugars in it, you know.
Oh, gosh.
So although I was very active as a child, because we lived in the Dales, so I cycled and I played tennis, there's only so much that one
doesn't
will
burn
count,
all that off, does
you know, it doesn't. And yeah, so basically I got quite overweight in the workplace. I think that photo there was actually one of them.
Passed by quick, we didn't see it. Okay, there it is.
That's it. Yeah. So that was the start of the first diet. I think a lot of people will relate to that.
You had tried, obviously, to.
I've been put on and off
and
diet since I was 6 years old. So
I used to get depressed dieting. Sorry, I love my food so much. It's like, oh, diet, okay.
Yeah, and I think also again in the 70s there wasn't the variety of foods.
Yeah.
So it was far more you eat cottage cheese and celery, neither of which I could stand.
Cucumber sandwiches.
Yes, and I couldn't stand any of them. And then I did lose that weight. Took 2 years, lost the weight, got quite slim. Stayed slim for a very, very long time, right through my first marriage, through my second marriage, up until my third child, and then I struggled after my third child. I struggled to lose the weight. And then really after my divorce is when the weight started to pile right back on again. So I'd kind of kept on top of it for years and years and years.
So would you say it was your emotions again that kind of took over at that point and you just started to overeat again? Yeah,
I think so. And I think also even when I was keeping myself slim, I was miserable.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that? Because it's true, because a lot of people do lose the weight, because I used to be quite overweight as well, but I was, and I lost weight, but I hadn't changed inside. Yeah. So I was still skinny and depressed. Just so, I mean, it didn't really make a difference on the outside, and I think that's what a lot of people go through. They think once I get slim, I'll be happy, but the problem's a lot deeper rooted than that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is hugely. And I think, well, when I say I was slim and miserable, yes, because the problems were deeper rooted, and also I think at the time, because I didn't really understand food that well, to keep the weight off, I basically ate chicken and salad for 10 years.
Oh God, poor thing.
And literally, I was the really horrible person that if you all went out for cream cakes and tea, I'd be going, I'll just have tea. And I really was horrendous, and I felt deprived. Yeah. So I'd then be miserable. So I'd make everybody around me miserable at the same time, because I didn't have that ability to balance. It was either eat everything, or be really, really restrictive.
There's no like in between.
Yeah.
Okay, but how did things change around for you?
I think when I came back from China, which sounds a bit odd, but I went with my ex-husband to live in China for a bit. So when I came back from China, and during the divorce, things got pretty nasty, and I did actually turn to food and alcohol. I thought I'd throw in a new one, you know, just throw in a new problem. And when I kind of started to get over that, then obviously my natural tendency from much, much younger was, oh, go back to the gym, go back to starving yourself, get the weight off. Yeah. But I was really, really fortunate that I met a personal trainer in the first month. Okay. And that made a huge difference to how I then lost the weight.
Were you out looking for one, or you just happened to just meet someone and like... Yeah,
but to be honest, they hit on you. That sounds awful. They don't hit on you in that way, which is a bit of a shame, because he was 21 and cute. But they hit on you as in they are self-employed. Okay, so they go out and say, they keep approaching you. Oh, okay. And it was really weird, because the first few times he was talking to me, I was like, no, I'm not fit enough. I can do personal training. This is a classic line everyone says to a personal trainer. I'll get a personal trainer when I'm fitter. Like that isn't actually their job. Yeah. But I found it was really weird, because I was, 44 by then? And I found that everything I'd ever done in the past to get the weight off just didn't work. And that's when I turned to the personal trainer, because I just thought, oh, is this like pre-menopause? Is it, why is everything that I've ever done, like cardio classes and eating chicken and salad, why this time am I literally half a pound lighter after a month?
That's very frustrating, isn't it? It's horrible.
And literally he just like completely overhauled my nutrition, how I trained and what I did.
Were you able to eat more?
Yes.
Oh. So you can eat properly and still lose weight, can't you?
Yeah, you were able to eat more, and it was actually something that horrifies most women, but it was picking up weights.
Yeah. Thank you. I totally agree, because that's how I lost weight as well, with the weight training. Yeah.
So it was picking up weights, and that has another lovely knock-on effect, because it actually, if you've done it, apart from getting, obviously, it does do a lot for your body in the sense that you can actually weigh quite a bit, but look much smaller.
Yeah, that's right.
And be a smaller dress size. But I think also the confidence it gives you is something that nobody even thinks they're going to have or get from it. And suddenly you realise you're picking up this big weight. And even though you couldn't take on 10 men in a bar in a fight, you feel like you could.
Yeah, it's true. You can.
And if you feel like you can do it, it then gives you that, you're less scared of everything.
It does definitely give you confidence in the way it makes you feel and everything. Yeah. Karen, you're going to stay with us because you've actually achieved quite a lot since then, because you didn't just stop at having a personal trainer. You went on to become one yourself. Yeah, right? And also have some other things that we're going to be speaking to after the break. Okay. And also we're going to be speaking to our expert, Diana Parkinson, about why people are tempted to overeat and drink excessively as well, and how you can maybe manage that. So do stay tuned.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter. Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back. Now, before we speak to our expert, Diana Parkinson, let's take a look at how to make a delicious and healthy spicy Moroccan meatloaf. I remembered it. There you go. So today I'm here with Hannah Richards of Move 360, and for those that say they don't have time to cook something nutritious and healthy, it's not true, is it, Hannah?
It's not true. Everyone's got time to eat right, because how we eat makes us feel good. So I'm going to teach you today some 2 or 3 recipes that you can either cook the night before or in the morning for breakfast. Okay, Chrissy, so we're going to make a spicy Moroccan lamb meatloaf. So you're going to get involved here. Right. This is the lamb, so this is sort of half a pound of lamb. And lamb is nice and fatty, and we want a fatty meat for the meatloaf. This is pork. I'm going to mix it today with beef. I'm going to make it a bit spicy, so I'm going to add a little bit of chilli, not too much. I'm going to add some paprika and then some turmeric. And turmeric is a great anti-inflammatory as well. Sometimes we can add it to a lemon, hot lemon in the morning with some turmeric powder. How are you getting on with that carrot?
Almost done.
Good. Mix it up all together. There we go. So that's the beef mince and the lamb mince, our turmeric, our chilli, our cumin. Okay, so in the middle of this meatloaf, we're going to put a layer of spinach through. So this is some nice organic spinach, and we're just going to sweat it out. We'll just take half of it, and we're just going to mould it. Here's our spinach ready. You can see that didn't take long, did it? And all I'm going to do with that is put it on top. So the rest of the meatloaf there, we're just going to push it around so it's a bit like a sandwich. So we're going to put this in the oven now. I'm going to put that in there. That's going to be on about 180. So the oven's been heating up, so it's nice and hot. And that's going to be 50 minutes, but I would always check at about 30 minutes, see how it's doing. Everyone's oven's a bit different. So we'll give that 50 minutes from now. Chrissy, here's your meatloaf, especially for you. I think that definitely looks done. This is our Moroccan, spicy Moroccan lamb meatloaf. And we're just going to put some on here. And you can sort of have it as a platter. We're going to cut that up there. Taste the spices. Yes, yeah, it looks a bit hot. So remember, we got all those spices in there, the chili, the turmeric, the cumin. You can use any spices. You could make it a sort of an Italian meatloaf and use your oregano and sage and Italian
The cumin's
herbs.
coming through really nicely as well.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
And remember, we used lamb and beef. You could use lamb and pork together, but I would always use a lamb mince or pork just because of the good fat content. Yeah. And if you're going to keep this, once this is cooled, you might, you know, on day 2 be using this. You want the good fat to keep it moist, and that's what the lamb fat will do, and the pork fat.
Thank you very much, Hannah, for that. You can notice I didn't stop eating. And by the way, that was the first of 3 videos. We'll be showing you the other things that Hannah made for us in later shows as well. But first of all, now we have our Skype call with Diana Parkinson. Hello, Diana.
Hello, Chrissy.
How are you?
I hope you're well.
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. It's good to have you back on the show, even though not in person, but it's by Skype. so we were speaking to Karen earlier about some of the issues that she was going through, and she was actually overeating because anytime she felt emotional. And is that the tendency for many people that overeat or drink excessively?
Yes, it's totally emotion driven. And we do these things to comfort us. The trouble is they don't actually comfort us, because if we start overeating, we feel even worse. You know, we get a temporary relief, and then almost immediately we're angry with ourselves and ashamed, and yeah, just goes downhill.
But once a person's in that cycle, it's quite difficult to come out of it, isn't it?
Yes. Yes. I mean, you know, the overeating or overdrinking, anything that's done, if you like, in an addictive way or overdone, is a sign that the person's not comfortable. And really, it's important to get some help so that you can find out, what is it that's making me unhappy? Why am I depressed? Why am I anxious? What can I do? Go and get some therapy, just so you can sort of talk things through and get an understanding of what is upsetting you, what you need to do to make your life happier.
Okay, so would that be the advice that you would give to someone that is in this situation, to first of all speak to someone about it?
Yes, I mean, something I work with a lot is overeating, and actually with both sexes. You know, I mean, it depends on the personality. So there are personality traits that will make someone more inclined to overeat than another person.
Really?
For example, or overdrink. So it's then trying to look at living moderately. So eating in moderation, drinking in moderation. I'm not a fan of diets, because diets, I think, don't work, because people have food they don't like to lose weight. So they're missing out on any pleasure. Food should be pleasurable. It's just the quantity. So I work with people to have smaller meals, but regular meals. Never miss a meal. Have breakfast, lunch and dinner. Have food that you like, but obviously healthy. If you sit down and just eat bars of chocolate, that's not healthy.
Right.
And it won't make you feel good either. But simple things like having, if you can, have porridge every morning for breakfast, which is slow release energy. It keeps you going from breakfast to lunch without feeling hungry. And it's very comforting. It really seems to bring a lot of comfort to people. So I've had clients whose levels of anxiety have been reduced just having porridge, which sounds very simple, but it works.
Oh, wow, that's brilliant. Now, if, for example, just before you go down, if, for example, the person themselves doesn't actually want the help or hasn't accepted the help, what can a family member do to maybe help that person?
I think it's very hard, because if it's a bit, you know, the old saying, you can take a horse to water, you can't make it drink. someone needs to want things to change, and they have to do something. You can't make somebody change their habits. Obviously, in a family situation, whoever cooks the meals most, mother or father, has a huge influence bringing up a child as to what their eating habits and alcohol habits will be in the future.
Right, okay. Then thank you so much for talking to us, Diana. It's been great speaking to you. Thank you, bye. Okay, so that's great advice then from Diana. Okay, so now we're going back to your story. So you've achieved quite a bit from the time you lost the weight and everything. You had your personal training. So what happened after that?
After that, I actually got really, really into the personal training in a big way. So I actually decided to train as a personal trainer, basically.
Did you ever see yourself doing that before? Could you ever imagined it?
No, what had I done before? I'd worked in marketing, I taught at universities. I'd never really, apart from loving tennis as a kid, I'd done exercise with an end in mind, and the end in mind was always to be a size 10 or a 12. It was never because I enjoyed it. It was always just with that last end in mind. And this had gone from originally, again with the aim in mind of going from this time a size 18 down to a 12 or a 10. But actually, I'd actually started to really enjoy it. And I think I enjoyed it because it was big weights and it wasn't getting hot and sweaty, and it was more challenging in a way. And I don't know why it was more challenging, but it was just kind of fun because you in the bit of the gym that's the scary bit, the bit with all the men in it, that you never go into as a girl, and suddenly you're there with
pushing the heavy weights and stuff.
Yeah, you're there with the bros. And it's a nice view. It can be a nice view as well. So anyway, I went off and I trained to be a personal trainer. Flew through that course because I'd had my second personal trainer had more experience. Deliberately chose him as a mentor. And then I decided that I wanted to go in a different direction again. So when I went into working, also I've got young children, I'm a single parent, I decided that rather than just help a small amount of people in my hometown, which is, what I could do as a personal trainer, what I was keen on, and we've just been watching, is food.
Okay.
Food has dominated my life.
Karen, I think we need more time with you. Our time's run out almost. Can you cover it in 30 seconds?
Yes. So personal trainers are rubbish with food, apart from that lovely lady there. So I started a company that basically provides personal trainers with recipes that they can then pass to their clients.
Oh, wow.
And that way I can reach more people.
Brilliant. And how's that going? Is that going well?
That's really taken off, really taken off. And in fact, I'm starting a second company in America this month, basically.
That's brilliant. Well done. Doing really, really well. And I wish you all the best for the future.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for sharing your story with us.
No problem.
Thank you. So that's everyone can see now that you can do it as well. If you are overweight or you're not feeling great about yourself, anyone can change, right, Karen?
Absolutely, and it's that saying that if it just takes one step, and the first step leads to the second step, leads to the third step.
Take that first step. Okay, all right, so after the break, we'll be joined by Chris Browne with the Self-Development Clinic, and I'll also be answering a question from a viewer, so don't go away.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back. I'm in the Self-Development Clinic with Chris Browne. Hello, Chris.
Hi, Chrissy.
How are you?
I'm great, but sure it's not a hologram?
No, I'm sure it's you.
Right, okay. I'm great.
No, he's here in the flesh, I promise. But let's answer this question first,
okay,
because I just want to speak to this viewer first. She says, hi, Chrissy, I had a lot of trouble with my ex-husband, including abuse, and even had to move country with my young children to get away from him. I filed for divorce, but he refused. But now he's agreed to it, but only if he can say that the divorce is on the grounds of my unreasonable behaviour. I'm tempted to agree to that just so I can get him out of my life, but need some advice. Now, I think this one you have to be really, really careful. I don't have your name here, so I looked up what unreasonable behaviour in terms of divorce means, and basically it's any behaviour that you can't reasonably expect to live to live with, and it can include anything from infidelity, excessive drinking, or financial extravagance, but but also things like devoting too much time to career, having no common interests, or pursuing a separate social life. Now, as I said, you do need to be careful here because you say he was abusive. Now, if you state in the divorce that if he states that it's your unreasonable behaviour, what kind of behaviour is he going to state? If he states something really serious, for example, like excessive drinking and neglect, what's going to happen with your children? Because you say you've got young children, so that could actually mean a big risk. You could even lose your kids. So I know you want this whole situation to be over with, and I know you must sort of want to break free and start again, but I'm a great believer in telling the truth, no matter what the circumstances, because I think if you say something like that, it could come back to bite you. But obviously it's entirely up to you what you do. But yeah, if I were in your situation, I would make sure that I fought. If he was indeed abusive, then I would fight for a divorce based on his unreasonable behaviour. That's my advice. I don't know what you think, Chris.
I actually agree with you on that. But the thing about it is children involved, the whole situation, it's not only them alone. And a situation like that needs to really seek professional counsel. Any kind of abuse, you shouldn't really stay in a situation that's abuse. You've got to value yourself at the end of the day. You know, get counselling. Find out who to go to. Sort it out.
Okay, so you have some advice for us as well, Chris?
Yes, I have some advice for us today. Right, today is a little bit different. It's more inspiration we're talking about. Inspiration, as we spoke before, means in spirit. So we're talking about achievers. And sitting over there earlier on and hearing Karen talk a while ago, I mean, she's achieved quite a lot. And achievement to many people is different. Depends on the circumstance at the end of the day. Now, one thing I was looking up there before and I was thinking, I mean, let me ask you the question. Would you say that most successful people, let's say top achievers, have the same sort of DNA? What do you reckon?
No.
No?
I would say no, because I think a person can sort of follow other people's examples and start to achieve in life. I think it's something that you can actually develop over time, even if you didn't think very much of yourself.
Well, it's funny because on the right track. No, because when you look at it, you think about DNA, you can tell by DNA, even with a baby, you can tell what sort of things will develop later on in life. So it's always looked at. But I've actually looked into research as well and seen, do successful people have the same sort of thing? Now, you just said it's spot on, because let's say top achievers are not born. They're actually self-made. They find out along the way how to
really
actually
unfair
achieve things.
if it was the other way around, wouldn't it?
Could you imagine?
It was just a part of your DNA.
Well, actually, we think about it. You've got some successful parents, top achievers. They kind of do pass it down to children, the sort of way, but it's not DNA. It's the way you actually bring something, where you get them, who they're around, all that sort of situation, environment at the end of the day. So that says, if you haven't been born in that environment, it doesn't make a difference. You can actually build yourself into being that achiever. And we're looking at different points because there's proof in it as well. When you think about it, there's a lot of top achievers who's achieved things that you thought, well, we find all these excuses why we shouldn't achieve. You might say, oh, well, I'm too old now. You know, it's too late now. And I went through something, and I remember this guy, what's his name? Jan Koum, right? Ukrainian guy. And when you think of WhatsApp, you know, the app, WhatsApp, this guy started at 35. Okay,
oh, really?
That's when he put it together at the time, with a colleague of his, Barry, at the same time. Got it together, thought what they're going to do with it, went ahead. Being very creative, achieved. Now, that's someone, all right, it's 35, that's okay. Somebody else might say, well, that's quite mature. 55. We're talking about the McDonald's as well. Same Kroc, he started as well. Wikidemia, Jimmy Wales as well. Same sort of thing. These people all started like in their 50s. There is some who started in their 60s and still achieved a lot. Now, if it was the case that it was a case of DNA, don't you think they would have done that a long time ago?
Yeah,
so they learned from experiences along the way.
How old was Colonel Sanders when he started?
Colonel Sanders, I believe, was 65.
Yeah,
65, Harland.
Advanced.
Yeah, Harland. That name, Harland, he started at 65. And they say, I can't actually verify this, that it took 1,009 no's. Now, 1,009 no's, you think about it, if you're unemployed at the time, you go for like 5 interviews in the week and they all say no, what? You know, forget it at the end of the day. But
people give up too easy sometimes, don't
we?
Yeah.
We do, and we got to think about it. Being an achiever, we got to think, what do we really want? Now, most achievements comes from the imagination of creativity, right? Setting that goal, as we were talking about, desires at the end of the day, and following that through. In saying that, we got to learn how to actually work the imagination tool as well. I mean, most times when you see people sitting around imagining, you think, oh, look at that lazy person. Look at that lazy person. Turn out to be great achievers. Because once you've got that concept in your mind and you're following it through and playing it over, you kind of put your body into that automatic, this is what I want to do. So imagination is a great tool. It's just like a muscle. You're talking about lifting weights. Yeah. Same sort of thing. You've got to work that imagination, stretch your mind a bit further, see how far you want to go and start.
It's the thinkers that make more money, isn't it? Really?
Sorry?
It's the thinkers that make more money rather than the ones that sort of just
that is it.
Use their body to do something. But,
exactly. Yeah. Well, you think about it, you're going to get more of it anyway. You can create it and they give it out. They give it out.
Yeah.
There are a lot of creations. Every time I think of these apps that are built and people are making so much out of it at the end of the day. Sit there, look at somebody else. How can I develop that further? Right? So going back to that, DNA, no. You can actually learn how to actually achieve what you need to achieve and be around the right people. Model somebody else who's doing what you want to do. Find out what they do that you need to do too at the same time. Yeah. So saying that as well, there's the other thing, passion. Passion. I always say this. If you've got passion about something, you do not need an alarm clock to wake you up in the morning. Always say that because it's actually true. You wake up and you just can't wait to get at it, right? So we're talking about high achievers, the whole makeup of high achievers and what they do to do this. Now, the other one on top of that is belief. Belief. You have to believe in what you're following through. And on top of that, there's no sense believing what you're following through if you don't believe in yourself. So you've got to look at yourself as well and think, can I do this? Can I do this? If there's no evidence at all that you cannot, just go for it. You know, high achievers are self-made. Go for it.
And, you know, even if the person doesn't believe in themselves, because I never used to believe in myself.
Right.
But I still had things, dreams. It was like it seemed like something so far away, and like, oh, I can never achieve that. Look at the type of person that I am, so shy, so insecure. So all these things that I used to think of myself. But it's not that you can't change that, because if you do talk to the right people, you know, maybe you look at yourself and you think, oh, do you know what, I'm not even going to bother trying because I don't think I can amount to much. You talk to the right people, you surround yourself with positive people, you can completely change. You can be different. You can start to believe in yourself. And you don't need to like be super confident to start something. It just take that very first step. And once you take that first step, you'll see that alone will start to give you confidence, because you've actually come out of your comfort zone already and started something. So the main thing is, you know, surround yourself with positive people, get the help if you need to talk to someone about it, if you need counselling. Make sure you do all that, because your life can be completely different.
And you just said it, step outside the comfort zone. You know, each week I work with groups of, as I said, unemployed people, and who's been unemployed for a while, and you find the one thing, in the space of like 2 weeks or a week, they get work. All it was the self-belief and the doubts that were there. Remove those and they can do anything.
No stopping you, isn't it?
No stopping at all. It's great, it's brilliant, you know. Definitely. And the thing about it is, you just got to think, don't look at us as achievers as something that you can't touch, right? Look at us achievers and say, well, I can do that too. Let me have a go. Let me go and talk to them. Let me do something about it. Let me change my life.
Definitely.
Right?
Thank you so much, Chris, for that.
Pleasure.
All right, we'll see you again next time. Okay. All right, so that's all we've got time for, people at home. So if you want more information, don't forget you can visit the website chrissybshow.tv. And if you haven't liked our Facebook page, what are you waiting for? You can go there now. It's The Chrissy B Show. There's lots of behind the scenes pictures there, and very soon we're going to be having competitions as well, so do check out already. So I think that's it for now. If you want to email me, by the way, you can do so on chris@chrissybshow.tv. See you again next time. Bye for now. Actually do some wall climbing. We're actually at the...
Wait, let's try that again. Oh. Oh. Oh, no, it's not working today.
I forgot the other question. Sorry. And, okay. What was the first question? Okay, all right.